About 2 weeks ago, I reviewed the Alienware AW2725Q, which is Dell's first 4K 27-inch QD OLED gaming monitor with 166 pixels per inch, promising ultra-detailed visuals and better text clarity than ever before. Today's video now brings us the MSI variant, the MPG 272URX, which is $200 more expensive at $1,099, but has features the Alienware does not, features so important many consider them deal breakers if not included. Could this be the 4K 27-inch QD OLED you should buy in 2025? Let's roll that intro and find out. After years of doing product reviews, a new trend's emerged where brands are now requiring reviewers to submit their videos for final approval before it ever goes online. Now, this often means the brand can ask to remove anything deemed negative, which means product reviews are more influenced by the brand than ever. Now, because of this, I vow that anything I review on this channel will not only cover the good, but the bad, and because I don't do ads, cover the ugly as well. It's time to get brutally honest about reviews. This is full transparency.
Brutally honest review.
That's right, this is a brutally honest review, and because most of my videos are not sponsored, that means I have to pay out of pocket to keep this channel going. So if you find this video helpful, consider using my links. If we can grow this channel big enough, I'll even start giving away what I review to you. The MSI MPG 272URX is a 26.5-inch 4K QD OLED G-Sync compatible gaming monitor, which once again comes equipped with 166 pixels per inch, promising better clarity and resolution than any 27-inch gaming monitor in the lineup so far. It is 240Hz with a 0.03 millisecond response time, so gaming should be a seamless experience provided you've got a graphics card up to the task. Now, I have a review unit, so packaging isn't going to be the same as what you get, but mine did come with a protective film over the screen. Once out of the box, the first thing I noticed was the mixed metal and plastic build with the large MSI Dragon over this brushed metal look on the back of the panel over the custom heatsink, and a touch of RGB once plugged in on the top middle of the back, though it's not bright enough to really make a difference when viewing from the front. The cable management hole is about midway through and has plenty of clearance for your cables. I would have liked to have seen it placed a little bit higher, as fully extending the monitor's height leaves your cables exposed from the front, not the cleanest look if you're going for minimalism. The stand base isn't as small as the Alienware variant, sitting at about 12 inches wide with a 9.5-inch depth, but it doesn't take up a ton of space, and I still prefer it over V-shaped stands other monitors employ. I did mention the monitor's height because it is height adjustable, with a max height a little over 20.5 inches, has a width of 24 inches, and weighs in around 18 pounds. It can also swivel left and right, tilt up and down, and go into portrait mode for those wanting to spend $1,100 for a QD OLED monitor to use for Discord. As far as the front of the panel, it is flat and coated in an anti-glare glossy finish, which should be fine if you game in a dark room or keep your curtains closed, though I could see light sources directly behind you becoming a problem, or open windows on sunny days becoming a pain. As far as the connections from left to right, we have a 3.5mm audio line out jack, which could be a big deal to some of you, as the Alienware model did not have one and instead relied on an HDMI 2.1 with eARC, so if you've got traditional PC speakers or headphones, this could sway your decision. We then got two HDMI 2.1 connections, so if you're looking for that 4K 120Hz compatibility with variable refresh rate and auto low latency mode, you're covered. Next up, we have what most of you have been requesting for some time, and something not every one of these 4K 27-inch QD OLEDs have: a DisplayPort 2.1a connection, meaning an 80 gigabit per second bandwidth, so you can take advantage of that 4K 240Hz without the need for DSC. And another feature you won't find on every model, a USB-C port with DisplayPort alt mode and power delivery up to 98 watts. We then have a USB Type-B port and two USB Type-A ports, which you can use with the monitor's built-in KVM switch to control multiple devices with a single keyboard and mouse. And finally, to wrap up the build, it is 100mm by 100mm VESA mount compatible and does not have speakers built in, so you'll need PC speakers, headphones, or an audio interface with studio monitors. Now, I've been using an MSI MEG 342C as my daily driver, so the menu is pretty familiar to me. The main things you'll want to pay attention to are the KVM option if you need it, Smart Crosshair, which uses AI so the crosshair changes color to keep it from blending with the background, Game Mode, which has a number of presets, though I personally prefer the User Mode for the most accuracy, or Premium Color if you want a saturated look, and Pro Mode, where you can find your professional presets, which include your sRGB, Adobe RGB, and Display P3 presets. I've been using sRGB for pretty much everything I do when it comes to editing, and it's served me well. You can also change HDR modes and choose from True Black 400 or Peak 1000 nits. As far as color accuracy, the monitor measured in with an sRGB of 100%, DCI P3 of 98%, and Adobe RGB of 96%, making it a fantastic monitor for productivity as well as gaming, as long as you take into consideration burn-in risk, which gets lower with each generation. SDR measured in at 255 nits with HDR at 489 nits at Peak 1000, which lines up with the 255 nits in SDR and 450 nits in HDR advertised. In addition to display HDR True Black 400, the 272URX is VESA certified for clear MR 13000. With light efficiency up to 30%, you're getting the best 27-inch experience so far in MSI's lineup, but picture quality aside, there is one more thing you'll want to pay attention to in the menu. If we scroll down to the MSI OLED Care section, you'll find a number of options here to help prevent burn-in, which include Pixel Shift, which moves pixels around at regular intervals, Panel Protect, which reminds you to do a pixel refresh every 4 hours, but you can't change that under Protect Notice to automatically apply every 16 hours, Static Screen Detection, which reduces brightness of static images, Boundary Detection, which reduces luminance of boundaries between two images, Taskbar Detection, which reduces luminance of your taskbar, and Multi-Logo Detection, which, you guessed it, lowers luminance of any logos detected. And when you factor in the graphene film and custom heatsink design and MSI's 3-year burn-in warranty, you can have peace of mind knowing burn-in most likely won't be an issue. Because I buy most of the products I review, it'll be impossible to get every variant to compare, but when it comes to the MSI versus the Alienware, even with its $200 price increase, I really feel like the MSI is the superior monitor. It retains a 3.5mm audio line-out jack, which the majority of you most likely use over eARC. It's got a USB-C port with power delivery up to 98 watts for your devices, and that DisplayPort 2.1 connection so many of you have been asking for. MSI did not leave you hanging. Let me know if this is the 27-inch 4K QD-OLED model you would buy, or if you think there's an even better variant than this one. I know Asus has a model, I believe Samsung is going to drop one, so I'm interested to hear what you think is the best bang for the buck. As far as my personal preferences go, I've been using the MEG 342C, which is a 34-inch ultra-wide QD-OLED, and while it's not a 3rd-gen panel and may not have the same sub-pixel quality as this newer display, I still prefer having a bigger screen on my desk, which not only helps when it comes to editing, but makes gameplay more immersive, and honestly, I think if you've got a QD-OLED already, you're good to go. For my personal use, I'll keep waiting until ultra-wides get the same or even better treatment. If you made it this far into the video, comment friends till the end, and if I appear off, it's because I was recently exposed to COVID and honestly don't feel too hot, but I needed to get this video done so I can move on to the next. If there's a product you'd like to see reviewed on this channel, let me know, but that's going to wrap things up for today. I'll see you next time.